Emmanuel Macron has ordered France into a third national lockdown as he admitted the country was on the verge of losing control of coronavirus. His announcement on Wednesday evening came as intensive care units in the hardest-hit regions of France reached breaking point amid a stalling vaccination rollout. Matthew Wright said he viewed Macron's leadership as a catastrophe. "Macron has a leader that he's been a disaster for the past few weeks," said Mr. Wright. "He has not been responding to concerns and the calls of the French people." France is also geographically divided over coronavirus. It seems to be much worse in the more populated north than it is in the south. Just across the border, Germany's got problems. There are a couple of German states that are already saying maybe the whole country should go into lockdown. Touching on the EU's vaccine supply crisis, he continued, "It is also combined with a degree of frustration that the EU system is not supplying vaccines to its member states at the rate that they would like. Ursula von der Leyen would argue that they are not proving the vaccines they are contracted to do so. But it is more nuanced than that, I think. It is poor leadership and the notion that individual states are turning away from the EU. Austria buying its vaccines from Russia." Earlier this week, France reported more than 5,000 patients were in intensive care, the highest number this year. During last night's address, President Macron said, "We will lose control if we do not move now." The French leader had pinned chances of a speedy economic recovery on avoiding this new nationwide shutdown, which will last for at least 1 month and will see a 7 p.m. curfew imposed across the whole country. Mr. Macron seemed eager to pin blame on Britain during his public broadcast, describing the Kent virus mutation, which has taken hold across much of Europe, as like an epidemic within the epidemic. He said, "This variant, which was identified for the first time from our British neighbours at the end of last year, and to a certain extent, of course, gave rise to an epidemic within the epidemic, and that is greater than last spring. So, therefore, there's no metropolitan region that now has been saved from it, and it's also more dangerous than in the autumn."